to Spotlight on Middle Country. If you haven't watched our previous episodes, which are all great, I have to admit, this is actually, I think, number 13 episode, and we are happy to be here today. My name is Lenore Paprocki, and I am the president of the Greater Middle Country Chamber of Commerce.
And my name's Elizabeth Malafi. I'm the coordinator of the Miller Business Center at the Middle Country Public Library. I'm so glad to be here.
It's great to have you here with me today, Elizabeth, and I'm so excited to announce that today we have a special guest star. This is Kevin LaValle, who is our councilman for our area, and he is an advocate for every single person who lives in our area. I'm so proud, Kevin, to have you here today with us. How are you doing today?
Doing great. It's been a tough 2020 so far, but you know, we're all hanging in there and working hard. So, you know, hopefully we'll get better as we move along throughout this year, to say the least.
Oh, amen to that. Isn't that the truth? So, Kevin, I think I'd like to start off by, listen, everybody sees your face. I think if you've lived in the Middle Country area for any period of time, you run into Kevin LaValle somewhere along the line. You're right in the trenches with us. Tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are.
Well, it's, you know, I grew up right in Center Reach. My family there's been a LaValle in the Center Reach area since the late 1930s. That's how long my family's been in this area. So, you know, I grew up right here. Very important, you know, a lot of my family's in politics and public service. You know, I graduated from Center Reach High School in 95. Went away to college, graduated college in 2000, came back home. Was an aide to Dan Lasquadro, chief of staff for him for a few years. Then I went into the private sector, and this is why I take the business community so seriously. I ran my own title agency, a small title agency. I ended up merging that business and moving on and getting my mortgage loan originator's license, which I still do today. I specialize in first-time home buyers, which is really a great thrill, helping people accomplish the American dream, owning their own home. And then I started working a little bit for Tom Muratori. I was working part-time for Tom, and then an opportunity came to run for town council, and had a lot of neighbors, friends reach out to me and say, hey, we really need you. You have the experience. We know you know what you're doing. You're here. You're a local guy. I ended up running for the seat. I won that seat about 7 years ago, and I've been working as town councilman since then. And I can tell you, it is, you know, I'm really honored that you said that about me, that I'm out there and I'm always running around, because that's what's important about this job to me, is having that interaction with people and being there for their problems, for their issues. You know, I think the biggest thing that people really want to hear is that something's getting done, or at least they get an answer. And that's probably the hardest part of my job, is telling people, no, I can't do that. But, you know, in a great many situations, I go out and help people with various issues, whether it's in the business community, in their neighborhoods, all over the place. So it's really been a great honor, and it's been a lot of work to represent this area for the last 7 years.
Well, first of all, I want to say go Cougars, class of '88 here, go Center Reach High School.
Absolutely.
And just to commend you, because I think having that business background does allow you to be, you know, more aware of the issues that our business community is facing. I mean, we're in unprecedented times, but even before that, having somebody who's advocating for businesses who actually understands what the businesses are going through, and having that person on the council, I think, is just invaluable to us. And as somebody who's very active in the business community in Brookhaven, I know that I see you around everywhere. And I think even as just a community member, that I know your face, that I know your name, that you are a real person and not just behind a desk in an office, and the only way I can see you is to go to that office, I think really speaks volumes. So we greatly appreciate it as a business community. And, you know, we touched a little bit upon the unprecedented times that we're in now. What have you heard from our local community? I mean, we know they're struggling, but is there anything in particular that you've seen? And
yeah, I can tell you, just my own experience, and this is kind of, you know, your outside business experience helps you with the government side in a lot of ways. I was running a title company back in 2008 when the market collapsed. And I can tell you that experience of being a business owner, trying to figure out, how am I making payroll this month? How am I making sure I'm getting deals in? I remember going through that, and that was probably one of the most difficult times. And it's something that I still relate to, and I think about all the time when we're going through COVID and we're seeing what happens with these small business owners, because the stories I hear from the small business owners are the same things I was going through then, owning my own business. And it has been, you know, the business community has been resilient. I have to give them a lot of credit. They've bounced back as best they can. They've been very responsible in our district. I think that's been the biggest thing. I think with the governor's orders and what have you, there was a lot of questions. Will people actually come back to stores? Is that going to happen? And what we had been advocating, I know Lenore and the other chambers of commerce, let's open up and let our business owners show you what we can do. And if you look around, you look at the stores, they've been very responsible. They're making people wear masks. They're taking all the precautions. They're wiping down things when people are coming in and out of their storefronts. They're taking every precaution. And I think that's been a great thing. And you've seen people going back. We were very worried that would people go back into stores? And we're really seeing that now. Now, I would love to see a bigger uptick as a whole with some of the other businesses that are going on. But I think it's been successful so far, but we still have to push ahead because, you know, we have a lot of challenges. When it gets cold out, it's going to be a lot of other challenges that we're going to have to adjust to, especially the restaurants in the area, because the outdoor seating may not be doable come October, November, December, obviously.
Right.
well,
And
and I
there's still
think
a lot of businesses that have not been able to open yet. And that's something we can't forget either. As the president of the chamber, I'm concerned about the businesses that have not been able to open. You know, things like gyms and bowling centers and, you know, indoor entertainment centers. I mean, these things are all people's livelihoods, and we have yet to get them open. So, but they're ready. Just like you said, Kevin, they are ready. They are definitely ready. They've got protocols and guidelines in place. They're ready to go. I've always said it should be consumer driven.
Yeah, it really should be.
Consumer,
It really
make up
should
your
be.
mind. Right.
And I, you know, with the gyms, you just touched on a great thing. I live in Selden. My gym I go to is Blink Fitness, and they just had to close down because they couldn't open up. And I think that's a big thing. I get a lot of questions about gyms, bowling alleys, movie theaters. You know, I think at a point we have to say, as you said, it has to be consumer driven. Put the guidelines in place, and if people are comfortable, they'll go back. And I think a lot of that goes on, and especially with gyms. These are some of the most health conscious people that you have that go to gyms. So to say that, hey, all right, open the gym at 25% capacity, people will work it out. When I went to the gym, I knew the people that were there at 6 a.m. when I got there at 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. Whenever I got there, it was the same group of people. Everybody goes at the same time. So to say that those people wouldn't be able to say, hey, we can do this smart, maybe close down in the middle of the day for an hour to have an extensive cleanup by the staff, and then let people back in, you know, that's probably their least busy time is 11 o'clock to noon during the weekdays. Close it down, wipe it up, let people come back in, because usually it's the mornings and the nights that are the busiest.
That's right.
So I really think it should be possible. And it was really great being you were part of our business recovery board in the town of Brookhaven, Lenore, and you were the one who actually came up with the idea of, you know, talking about, you know, instead of saying, oh, here and there, you know, let's do it on a size of the business basis, a square footage basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to say we could separate people because you have X amount of square feet, and that was a great idea that you brought to the table that we were advocating for through our state representatives.
Yes.
And I think that and I apologize for not remembering the exact wording, but there's ways that consumers can help our local businesses. And I think it's actually going to local businesses and, you know, eating in our local restaurants, even if it's taking out, and going to our local stores. And what is the chamber's?
We call it Be Vocal, Shop Local.
Yeah.
And that was actually spearheaded by Middle Country Auto owner, Joe Strazzeri, be vocal, shop local. And
I think that's great. And, you know, even myself during the lockdown, I thought, what can I do to support local businesses? So I was just buying coffee grinds from all of the local coffee makers. Instead of going to Starbucks, I tried to order from local coffee. I tried to do anything I could do to stay local pizza places. I mean,
right.
the Middle Country area has wonderful local restaurants. So even just doing that can help.
I mean, you've seen that with a lot of the people they were buying during COVID. They were buying gift cards for their families from places, really going out of their way. And, you know, it was great also. People were ordering. I was talking to John Rose, who happens to own Slices Pizza. And he was telling me some stories about how people were coming in, ordering food for first responders, for our firefighters, for our paramedics, for our hospital workers who were doing a great job. And he said those orders were coming in just from regular citizens, just saying, hey, I'd love to do this for them. So that's been a really good thing, seeing residents in the business community coming together.
That's for sure. That was a very heartfelt giving back to the community from the community. And I never forget those days. That was the good feeling. Even though we had this pandemic going on and we had to worry about, you know, everybody's health, there was still the people sitting home saying, how can I help these first responders? And how can I help small businesses? And they did that together. And I think that's amazing.
And I think that goes to like community and creating a community. And again, I think that's something that you do so well, Kevin, is creating that community and being part of the community. How do you decide, you know, what things that you participate in with the community? Like how have you made your place in the community?
Well, I listen, we have so many great community events to attend and go to. My schedule's always busy. This job, you know, it seems like it's a 24-hour-a-day job between events, you know, being at the office, constituent calls. Of course, the Middle Country Mom stage, they keep me very busy. I'm always on that, to say the least. But, you know, that's a great thing. But one of the things I also wanted to do when I got in office, we have a lot of great events, but there was things that I wanted to be able to bring to the community. Unfortunately, started about last year, 2 years ago, I've been doing events, different events all over the place. But we started doing a summer event series that we started fully last year. And we had a pickleball tournament. I hosted the 3-on-3 basketball tournament. We did the National Night Out. We had the Hobbs Farm Run. And those were great events. And it was amazing. The National Night Out that we worked with Suffolk County Police at the Center East Pool, the last 2 years, over 1,000 people attended. It was one of the largest events in all of Suffolk County. And it was an amazing event. Unfortunately, you know, COVID this year, weren't able to do it. The one event we are going to be doing this year, and we're going to be doing it virtually, so it'll be different, is the Hobbs Farm Run, which is to raise money for the last remaining farm in Center Reach. That raises over 50,000 pounds of food that they donate out. All volunteer run organization. We're going to be doing that virtual run September 5th to 13th. So people could log on, donate money, do whatever they can. This year, we have a catchy slogan this year because we're trying to rebuild the barn this year at Hobbs Farm because it's got a lot of holes in the roof, so we're trying to raise money for that. So it's run the farm so we can save the farm. Save the barn. I'm sorry, I blew that. Run the farm
great.
so we can save the barn.
Love it.
So those are a lot of events, but we wanted to be able to bring, I know for me, it's not only me going to people, it's also having people come to government and having those events. I can't tell you how many people will come up to me and just say, hey, I'm here for the basketball tournament. My son's here. This is great. But I had this issue in my neighborhood. And you have that conversation. You know, you want to make government accessible to the people in many different ways. And we want to be here for the residents of the Middle Country community as best as we can. And I think it's crucial that we do all those things. And I know Lenore with the Chamber, I love what you guys have done, joining together with the other chambers in the area.
Yes.
It's not only the Middle Country Chamber, now they're doing events with Farmingville, Holbrook, and they're having these massive, you know, chamber meetings that it's so great to go to. I don't know, Lenore, if you could talk about that a little bit, that'd be great.
Yeah,
I love
thank you.
that.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. And that was actually something that was started a few years back with the idea of that the Middle Country area shares the same issues as Farmingville, as Ronkonkoma, as Holbrook, all the same issues. And we finally got the people, the members, to understand that we're not bringing in more, for an example, more real estate people to infiltrate your people. It's better when we all work together, because I know for me, what will happen is that I may, for an example, under my Lenore Rose Consulting, get a job that I can't handle, but I know someone from networking that I can refer you to without any hesitation, and vice versa. So it does help to grow your business in a kind of an organic way, but also gets a lot of like-minded people together that can talk about different ideas. And we walk away with, I know that the chamber members have enjoyed it, and we walk away with a lot of great ideas that will spawn out of these these collaboratives that we do with the other chambers, and we're happy to do them.
As just a chamber member, I love going to those meetings because it's just so wonderful to meet different people, and I always meet somebody new. I always see somebody I know, and it all goes back to what we're trying to do here with Spotlight on Middle Country, is highlight the community, highlight our community, learn about other communities. So I mean, I think it's been wonderful. We appreciate you being with us today, Kevin, and we appreciate everything you do for our community as well as the business community.
Kevin, I can't thank you enough. You've always been a phone call away from me and any chamber issues. Your accessibility is far beyond. I don't know anybody who's more accessible than Kevin LaValle is, and being a cheerleader for our community, with a face, with a purpose. I can't say thank you to you enough for all that you do for our community. So we're so glad to have you here today. And the time goes so fast.
Yeah. Well, when we're talking business, we're talking Middle Country. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
For sure.
Maybe you could have me back. Maybe you could have me back soon, and we'll go over. Maybe we could come back and we'll talk about some of the projects that are going on up and down Middle Country Road. Have a lot of
that idea.
Absolutely.
It's great. Texas Roadhouse is coming in and Selden. Everybody's been all excited about that. I can't tell you how many calls I've gotten just about that restaurant coming in. So
I bet.
So maybe we'll have me back and we'll go up and down. But I appreciate all the really nice comments. It's real honor. Like I said before, I grew up in this area. I truly love this area. It's a great honor to represent my friends, my family, and this whole area, and it's something that I take very seriously. And I'll continue to work as hard as I can to try to improve this area and make it a better place to live and raise a family, to say the least, and run a business, to say the least.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Councilman Kevin LaValle. So
yes,
good to have
thank you.
Here. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.